Today, we will be discussing 10 bizarre consumer products that were pulled within days of release. So, this is a new monthly feature. Maybe we'll do it a little bit more because it's cool. So, I am your host, Larissa Begood. I head marketing here at PGM. And with me today, I have Kristen Jones, who is PGM's marketing manager. Welcome, Kristen.
Thanks for having me, Larissa. I'm super excited about this episode with you. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
We had so much fun researching this. And we have some of our podcasts that talk about our data products and what not to do or to do in marketing. But this one is just a fun data list of top 10 product flops. So to get started, some products might fail slowly, some do really good. Others, they just detonate on impact. So here are, without further ado, 10 consumer products that didn't just flop, they vanished in record time. So to kick us off, Kristen, do you want to go over this? And actually remember this, the Google Glasses.
Google Glass, the coolest tech nobody wanted watching them. Launched in 2013 as a revolutionary hands-free AR-powered gadget. So you could get weather updates in your eye line, take hands-free photos, and even read messages without looking at your phone. It seems like it's a bit much. I feel like we're all really digitally connected right now. And I'm not sure if I would want glasses on my face that were doing that, but
it's like Inspector Gadget type of stuff.
yeah. It says here early adopters paid $1,500 to join the exclusive Glass Explorer program, sparked public backlash over privacy concerns, banned in bars, theaters, and more. I'm also driving too, I would imagine. Not want to drive with these glasses on.
Absolutely. I feel like there's got to be like some x-ray vision in them where they're going to see through things that they shouldn't be seeing through. I don't trust these glasses.
Yeah, it says, and that's why it flopped. It says it became the target of public mockery and media satire, nicknamed glass holes for the social awkwardness wearers caused. Consumer launch scrapped by 2015.
So the next one is Colgate kitchen entrees. So Colgate toothpaste and food. So I don't know, minty fresh meatloaf, not so yummy. So this product was launched in the 1960s as a line of frozen dinners. So think lasagna, meatballs, steak. And it was intended to expand Colgate's trusted hygiene brand into household food. Okay, interesting concept. And the packaging looked identical to toothpaste branding. So obviously, this caused some consumer confusion. And taste testers, so imagine you were like, hey guys, here's a new product, love for you to taste it. It was the for the taste testers. They found it bland, unappealing, probably weird when you taste minty meat. Just again, just sounds blasphemy. And also consumers assumed that they were healthy, but what it was really heavily processed and calorie dense food. And of course, sales flopped and it also damaged the toothpaste brand. They were quickly pulled from the shelves and really Colgate never publicly addressed it again. It just was there and it was gone. Done. So this is obviously now remembered as a really classic example of a marketing failure.
Pepsi AM breakfast cola for the caffeinated commuter. Okay, this is really interesting. Launched in 1989 with 28% more caffeine than regular Pepsi. So it's marketed as a morning soda alternative to non-coffee drinkers. I think that's really interesting. I don't know. Even with soda drinkers, do soda drinkers really want a soda first thing in the morning? I don't know about that.
Okay, so if you're watching the video podcast portion of this, we are recording this in the afternoon. It is not morning, and I happen to be drinking Sprite, which is non-caffeine. So, just saying.
Yeah, I like Sprite. I am a coffee person as well. The idea was aimed to shift soda consumption to early day energy needs. The advertising was confusing and inconsistent. whereas like energy or flavor, the consumers ultimately they rejected soda for breakfast. It's unappealing and healthy was the sentiment among consumers. The taste was nearly identical to regular Pepsi, so it wasn't like it was anything different. It was quickly pulled after the poor test market performance and low sales and quietly discontinued and forgotten.
It's funny that these products are just kind of quietly forgotten. Nothing else is ever said. It was just it never happened, people. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. We never did it. So this is Cheetos lip balm for when you just want cheesy kisses. I do love Cheetos. I will not ever like purposely smear them on my lips, and certainly not in a lip balm. So this was launched in 2005 during this novelty cosmetics trend at the time and marketed as moisturizing with bold cheddar flavor. But okay, excuse the poor joke, but it was delivered. It only delivered nacho cheese scented regret. I love that line.
Yeah.
So reviewers described the scent as cheesy gym socks. Ew. And this is even funnier. So it had a waxy kind of gritty texture. I don't know. I'm just picturing like mashed up Cheetos that you're spreading on your mouth. And so no one really wanted to be caught applying cheese to their face. I don't blame them. Again, this was another product that was just pulled from the shelves pretty quietly and quickly, and thank goodness never relaunched. So this is cool. Later, it became like this weird collector's item on eBay. Not necessarily for the beauty aspects of it, but you can find anything on that in eBay.
Yeah. I would say this the only appropriate time to buy this is if you wanted to give somebody a gag gift,
Hey,
right? Or they're like a collector of Cheetos like brand stuff. I have no idea.
yes.
All right, I'm glad we're moving on from that one because it was making
Yes.
me a bit queasy. All right, so the next one, Samsung Galaxy Note 7, the phone that came with a fire hazard. And you know what? I actually remember hearing about this in the
Oh,
news.
wow.
I do. I remember hearing about this in 2016. It was getting rave reviews. It was like their best phone yet. The features included water resistance, AMOLED display, and refined stylus. But it quickly turned into a safety disaster. Devices were catching fire when they were charging. So that's really scary because if you can imagine, most people charge their phone when they go to sleep at night.
Right.
Bam, it's like catching fire. Ugh. So Samsung issued replacements, but those caught fire too.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
That's
it just
bad.
gets worse. Yeah. Airlines ended up banning the phone. It got to a point where it was becoming like
Wow.
a hazard for to imagine going through TSA. It's like, sorry, you can't come through with that phone. But that's what it ultimately ended up happening. Airlines were banning the phone for safety reasons, completely valid. And Samsung ended up recalling 2.5 million units and halted production. So the estimated losses of that were significant. It says here 5 billion plus massive brand damage. Obviously, when you have a crisis like that, that's not good for your brand. They have recovered from it. It was definitely a big thing. I remember it being in the news. It says here, became infamous for fireproof return kits and unprecedented global recall. So
That is fabulously bad.
this one is probably the scariest one that we've looked at so far.
Yeah, I just can't imagine talking on my phone and then just bursting into flames. Okay, I'm obsessed with this next one. It's called the Rejuvenate face mask. So think of those masks, like those devices that men and women can get that's like the red light therapy. And you
Yeah.
put it on your face to target wrinkles. But this particular one caused a shocking skincare experience. I can only imagine what that might be. So this one was marketed in the early 2000s as an anti-aging skin tightening device. And what it did was it delivered these little electric microcurrents through this creepy looking silver mask plugged into a wall. And so now, of course, all I can picture is the man in the iron mask. So if you have not seen that, that is a little bit of an older movie. Again, creepy, but just, I don't know, not cool. However, users reported like painful electric shocks, facial twitching, skin irritation. So they're really putting these masks on and electrocuting their faces. Of course, medical experts questioned its safety and obviously its even legitimacy. Is this even working? So, of course, it was a non regulated medical device. Despite the electrical content and currents hitting your face, it was just not regulated as under a medical patent. And so again, retailers quickly pulled it off of the shelves after negative reviews and electrical safety concerns. And yeah, it is definitely a viral what were they thinking moment. We will share a picture of this in the video podcast portion, and it's pretty funny to see what it looks like. Again, I'm gonna have to think twice now before getting like one of my own red light therapy masks.
Yeah, exactly. I know those are really popular. This is a weird one for sure. All right, so what we have next, Crystal Pepsi, a vision too ahead of its time. All right. So launched in 1993 with a massive Super Bowl campaign, this was promising a pure soda. It was marketed as caffeine free and healthier looking, still Coca Cola flavored.
Yeah, so it was like looked like water but tasted like cola.
It tasted just like the soda, but it was just caffeine free and it was clear.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
yeah, so Pepsi invested millions. They thought it was going to be a novelty, really kick off. But what happened was people were getting confused about the clear appearance with the product because it tasted just like the soda, but it was clear. So because people are so used to drinking this Pepsi like that they know and love, and now all of a sudden there's this clear version that tastes just like it was throwing people off. Many people assumed that it was lemon lime or like sugar free, but it wasn't. And it was described as being like a flat or off in taste, actually. So ultimately, they sabotaged their own efforts and launched the Tab Clear to increase market confusion.
Oh my gosh.
So discontinued by 1994 after the sales just went, they plummeted. They tried again with a citrus version. So it was Crystal from Pepsi that time. And
Not Pepsi.
that didn't do any better. So yeah, I guess it was occasionally revived years later as a nostalgic, iconic limited release, but we weren't able to find anything on that. If that went anywhere, probably not though, because it ended up on this list. So
I have a feeling you could find a bottle of it on eBay.
yeah, right. Along with our cheese, our oh gosh,
Oh yes, the cheesy, what was that one? The cheesy lip Cheetos lip balm.
yeah, that one.
Oh, and maybe I guess you can't find any of the frozen Colgate Lunchables or snackables on eBay, but who
Yeah,
knows?
not.
Okay, so at number 3, it's called the Microsoft Zune phone app. So it was an app, and the Zune was Microsoft's answer to the iPad. So I guess it was more than an app. I'm not sure. Let's see what this one is. By 2009, it had evolved into the Zune HD. So it was a device that kind of, I guess it looked good. It played music well, and it actually had a surprisingly devoted fan base. Okay, maybe they're starting off pretty good. But when Microsoft integrated the Zune software into its Windows-based phones, it seemed like a smart move. Everything likes something integrated and thinking that things can start talking to each other. The mobile Zune app would allow users to stream, sync, and manage music collections across devices. So again, good idea. However, unbeknownst to, I guess, Zune and Microsoft, there was a coding bug, and that caused the app to crash phones, and particularly around New Year's date. So it must be something with the calendar dates rolling over. I remember the whole 2K thing when people thought the world was going to end because we were going from 1999 to 2000. And I don't know, I guess if you had a Zune phone, you were dead. So what happened is Microsoft deployed this kind of a silent kill switch to disable the broken features. But in some cases, the app couldn't even be uninstalled. It was just like, just stuck. It was there. So it basically rendered part of the phone useless. And it wasn't the hardware that failed, it was just the software bug. It was just so embarrassing that it killed off one of the phone's biggest selling points within a week of its launch. And obviously, this whole coding bug and broken phones and just all the poor features associated with this pretty much killed this whole Zune platform and app overnight. It never recovered, and thus it solidified Apple's dominance in digital music. So if this didn't happen, we would all be carrying around our Zooms instead of our Apples.
I'm glad it happened then.
Yeah, I don't have an Apple, but I don't think I want a Zune.
Exactly. Coming in at number 2, Bic for her pens. Pretty and pink, pointless in practice.
I remember these.
Yeah, I don't know if I remember it, but launched in 2012 as pastel slim and elegantly designed pens that fits a woman's hand.
Mm.
Marketed to women called Bic for her, Bic assumed that they were tapping into an undeserved niche in the stationery market. So instead, they did open the floodgates, though, for viral.
Yeah.
One user wrote, "Thank you, Bic. I've never been able to write until now. My delicate lady fingers couldn't handle the manly pens."
That's amazing. That's amazing.
They quickly became the laughing stock across the internet. It's easy to see why. Comedians, bloggers, late night hosts, they just all shouted it out and was just like, this is basically ridiculous. Mm-hmm. Very tone deaf. So within weeks, it began being pulled from the shelves, and Bic distanced itself from the campaign. So they never did issue a formal apology, though, nor did they attempt to rebrand after this.
I love all the comments about, like, my little delicate lady fingers couldn't handle the larger pens.
So what do we got?
All right.
For one?
Yes, drum roll, please. Woof Washer 360. Because your dog deserves a car wash too. And that does not sound safe to me. I have a Frenchie. She would go nuts just like thinking about what this might be. So the Woof Washer 360 debuted in 2016 as the miraculous pet cleaning device. So basically what it was, this large plastic hoop that you attach to a garden hose and you slid it over your dog like a hula hoop. And the water would spray in a 360-degree pattern. And supposedly this was to give your poop a gentle, even bath in second. Okay, I could see it, and not such a bad idea. And the infomercial showed like calm, obedient dogs. Of course it did. Just happily standing while being misted from all sides. So I'm picturing like a spa day in the backyard and candles, little doggy scented or bone scented candles for your dogs. But in reality, of course, unlike the infomercial dogs, real life dogs were not having it. So within days of shipping, customer reviews flooded in describing chaos. Just think pets sprinting in panic, howling, barking, yapping from the cold blast of being like shot at all sides by 360-degree ring of fire water, being knocked over by the water pressure. And then, of course, there was videos. So there were videos of dogs flipping out as their owners try to wrangle them through the plastic ring. Groomers, of course, called it ineffective and basically borderline unsafe. One veterinarian even warned it could traumatize sensitive dogs. Of course, my little Bella, she would be very traumatized. So yes, there were high returns. They were dropped from websites, and within a month, it was nearly impossible to find. It was later rebranded under different names. I guess hopefully it was a little bit better off, but the original Woof Washer 360 became a punchline. And that, my friends, is a good top 10 list, a data list for data dialogues. And what were your thoughts on this, Kristen? I think these were amazing little marketing mishaps and do nots.
Yeah, I agree. That was a lot of fun to go through those, and I learned about some that I hadn't before. I'm glad I didn't ever have the Cheetos lipstick.
Cheetos lipstick, exactly. And I don't know. I guess if you want to find them, go to eBay, is what we've learned.
Exactly.
So, on that note, if you are looking for data-driven solutions for your targeting, don't hesitate to reach out to us. Thank you all for joining us for another great episode of Data Dialogues. And on that note, stay data-driven, stay creative, and we'll see you all next time.